Now on my channel, we've talked a lot about the best places to live in San Diego, the best neighborhoods. Today, we're going to talk about the neighborhoods that you should avoid buying a home. And we're going to look at this from an investment standpoint. Because if you're going to move into a home, even if you want to live there, more often than not, you want to think ahead of the future of, are you making a good investment? Are you going to be able to sell that for top dollar? Are you going to be able to sell it quickly? Or maybe you want to rent it out at some point. We're also going to look at it from a factual investment standpoint for fair housing laws. And some of the facts that we're going to utilize to analyze which neighborhoods are better than others are drive time, amenities, prices, tax rates, age of homes, and increase of property values. And make sure to hang around till the very end because I'm actually including one of the most sought after, one of the most expensive neighborhoods in all of San Diego. And we're starting off this list with Chula Vista, which is in South San Diego. Chula Vista is the 14th largest community in all of California, so it is a pretty large place. And the reason people are moving to Chula Vista now is because when prices continue to go up in Metro San Diego, people are starting to move more and more out to the suburbs, more and more out to the east, more and more out to the south. And that is exactly where Chula Vista lies, outside of the city of San Diego, and you could find more affordability in newer homes. And there are a lot of reasons why you would actually want to live in Chula Vista. There are a lot of homes that are available. This is one of the few places in San Diego where you can find a lot of new construction. And there's a lot of value that you can get in the homes down there as far as how large they are, how new they are, and the price point. The price point, you can't beat the price point for what you can get down in Chula Vista. Chula Vista also has a really high ownership rate versus rental rate. And what that means is when you go to sell your home, there's going to be a lot more demand for people wanting to own a home in that area as opposed to renting it. But there are negatives of living here as well, which is exactly why it's on this list, starting with the drive time. Now, the drive from Chula Vista to anywhere, it feels like is going to be at least 20 minutes. If you want to get to Metro San Diego with no traffic, is around 20 minutes. If you want to get to Metro San Diego with traffic, I mean, good luck. It could be 30, 40, 50 minutes to get there, depending on how bad the traffic is. And part of the reason is because you don't really have very many directions to go from Chula Vista. There's nowhere to the east of you. If you go to the south, you have Mexico. If you go to the west, you have Imperial Beach, and then you have the ocean. So you pretty much have to go north for just about anything you need besides the local shopping that you can get in Chula Vista. Now, Chula Vista has kind of a middle ground property tax rate. Anywhere in California is going to have at least a 1% tax rate, but then it's going to go up from there depending on what city you're in. And in San Diego, in general, it's going to be between 1.02% to 1.22%. And Chula Vista is right in the middle at 1.11%. But that's just the property tax. If you're buying one of these brand new homes in one of these new communities, you're also going to have what is referred to as Mello-Roos, which is going to help build up the surrounding area. It's a yearly fee that you have to pay. And in some areas, it can be quite expensive. Anywhere from $2,000 to $5,200 a year is kind of the average Mello-Roos price that you're going to pay with these new communities in Chula Vista. So between the property tax, the Mello-Roos, maybe a $200 HOA, these new communities are great and the homes are incredible value. But when you add all of those together, you're talking about around $1,700 a month extra that you're paying. It's going to be about $20,000 a year. That's really going to add up over time. And if you are still interested in going to Chula Vista, it's a great area. Don't get me wrong. I do like Chula Vista a lot. They have new construction available from over a dozen of the top developers in San Diego, from Shea Homes to Lenner to Cornerstone Communities. There's a lot that you can go for. And specifically, I really like Village of Vizcaya, which I've done an entire video on, and I'll throw up in the top corner up here for you to check out. And next up on the list is El Cajon. And just like Chula Vista is where people are going if they want to own a home, but they can't afford it in the city and they want to go south, El Cajon is where you go if you want to move east and just get right outside the city and have a little bit more affordability, maybe get a little bit more home for your money. And there is some new construction available in El Cajon, but definitely not as much as in Chula Vista. In fact, the median age of a home in El Cajon is 45 years old. The average in San Diego is 40 years old. So you're going to find some older homes in El Cajon. And there certainly are some positives of living in El Cajon. For one, it just seems like you're so much closer to the hustle and bustle. You're so much closer to the city of San Diego. It'll take you about 17 minutes to get to the middle of Metro San Diego, but it's going to be generally a lot less congested going from east to west than it would be coming from south up when you're coming up from Chula Vista. And it definitely has that affordability factor where the median price home in El Cajon is $583,000 versus the median price home in San Diego is around $650,000. You're also going to find much fewer HOAs and Mello-Roos in El Cajon. You aren't going to have to worry about those extra fees like you are in other areas. All right, let's get into the negatives, starting with a low ownership rate of 39%. 39% of people own their homes in El Cajon versus San Diego as a whole is 53%. So technically, if you're looking to purchase a property to rent it out, this might be a good area to do it in. But if you're looking for resale value down the line, maybe not quite as good. You also have a high property tax rate in El Cajon, 1.21%. But the reality is the difference between 1% and 1.2% for $1 million property is only going to be an extra $2,000 a year. So certainly it's going to cost you a little bit more in property tax. It's not going to be that massive of a difference. And if you are still looking to purchase in El Cajon, you still have a lot of positives that you're going off of. I would maybe stick to some of the areas that have seen the highest appreciation, the area that butts up to Grossmont and La Mesa. And then you also have Fletcher Hills in the Northwest. That's another really nice area in El Cajon that I'd recommend. And next up, we have Lemon Grove. Lemon Grove is maybe one of the smallest areas that we're going to talk about today, and it is just outside of city limits. And just like everything else, there are some positives of living in Lemon Grove. For one, you're really close to Metro San Diego. So wherever you need to get around to, this is definitely the closest on the list that we've talked about so far to getting to central San Diego, to getting to downtown San Diego. You really have nice access to all that kind of stuff. You're also going to see a high ownership rate in Lemon Grove, which is going to be a good thing when it comes to resale value. And when it comes to the negatives, again, this is going to be really high property tax at 1.22%. And you have older homes. The average home in Lemon Grove is going to be 55 years old or older. And that means a higher potential of hidden expenses down the line. The older the home is, foundation issues, roof issues, electrical, there's all sorts of things that you can run into with an older house versus a newer one. Now, if you are still considering buying in Lemon Grove, great. There's some awesome areas there. I'd probably recommend staying away from the city center right next to the freeway and get down more into the Lemon Grove Ave or Skyline areas. I really like the area off Mount Vernon. So you're going to have higher elevation, some cool views, and you're also seeing a lot of appreciation in that area. Next up, let's talk Imperial Beach. Now, you've probably heard me talk about Imperial Beach before. It is the best value beach community in all of San Diego. You can't find homes for this price in any other beach community. Imperial Beach is located right next to Chula Vista. It butts up against Mexico and it butts up against the Pacific Ocean. So again, you're in this area where if you need to get out of that area, if you need to go do something else and you can't find what you need down there, you're going to have to go north and you're probably going to have to drive a while. So you're just kind of secluded from the things that you might need. Now, again, you're going to find affordability here. The median price home in Imperial Beach is $688,000, which is higher than the $650,000 median home in San Diego County. But again, if you want to be by the beach, next to the beach, on the beach for less than $1 million in San Diego is pretty much unheard of anywhere else except for in Imperial Beach. And this is a walkable beach community. I mean, you have the boardwalk down there. You have some really cool local restaurants. It's a fun place to hang out. You're also just a short drive away from Coronado. And from Imperial Beach, what's nice is you don't have to go over the Coronado Bridge, which gets extremely congested. You can come up through Silver Strand Beach, and it's a really beautiful view. It's a really nice place to go, and it's great access to one of the best beaches in San Diego. And as far as the negatives, again, it's a 20+ minute drive if you need to get to Metro San Diego, downtown San Diego, all these other places. The average age of a home in Imperial Beach is going to be 50 years, which is 10 years more than the average age of a home in San Diego County. And then you have the sewage issue from Mexico. And this is extremely unfortunate, but there are multiple days out of the year that the beaches are closed in Imperial Beach because of poor water conditions. And what this means is there is overflow of sewage in Tijuana. And when the conditions are just right, the currents come up, then they can bring up enough of that sewage to make the waters not safe to be in. And this is a real issue. It really sucks. I really hate I have to mention it, but it's worth noting when you're considering buying a home in Imperial Beach. And besides that, the beaches are awesome. They're white sandy beaches that I love to go to. You just have to be careful when you go to them. Now, if you're looking for specifically where you would want to live in Imperial Beach, I would recommend, the closer you are to the boardwalk, the better. That is definitely a good place to be because that's going to be the most walkable. But also on the northwest side, kind of at the access of Silver Strands Beach, that's another really great place that you want to live in. And it's seeing a lot of high appreciation compared to the other areas in Imperial Beach. And next up on the list of places that you may want to avoid purchasing a home in is going to be San Marcos. And San Marcos is the first place on this list that is in North County, San Diego. And it's actually located in between the 5 freeway and the 15 freeway. So if you live off of the 15 freeway over by Escondido, you really feel like you're far away from the beach. You really feel like you're in a different area over there. When you're over by the 5 freeway, you feel like you live close to the beach. So this is kind of right in the middle. It's almost, I don't want to say happy medium, but it's almost a happy medium. And it certainly is more affordable than living in those communities next to the beach. So you can get more bang for your buck, more house for your buck, maybe even some newer homes and spend a lot less money than you would just being 5-10 minute drive west. And there are a couple of positives about living in San Marcos, starting with new construction. Just like Chula Vista is one of the few areas in San Diego that you can find a decent amount of new construction. Up here, it's going to be, I mean, probably more townhomes than there are with new construction in Chula Vista, but still some brand new construction in some very nice areas. In fact, the median home age in San Marcos is lower than anywhere else on this list at 28 years. You also have a high ownership rate at 57% and just about an average property tax rate at 1.1%. And now you're probably thinking, but Dan, what about all the negatives? Don't worry, I'm getting there. There are negatives. For one, it's about a 30+ minute drive to Metro San Diego, downtown San Diego. So if you ever have any reason that you need to be down there, it's going to be a little bit of a drive. Now, with that said, you are still surrounded with, the coastal communities. You're closer to Orange County. You're closer to Temecula if you want to go to wine country. But as far as if you need to be central San Diego, if you need to be there frequently, that drive's going to wear you down. It's also another area where you're going to frequently run into HOAs in Mello-Roos. Now, the nice thing is compared to Chula Vista, generally is going to be a lot cheaper. So you're talking like maybe $2,000 a year for Mello-Roos, whereas in Chula Vista, you very easily run across 5,000 plus a year in Mello-Roos. So when you break that down per month, it's really not too bad. I'm also seeing a lot of the HOA fees are going to be a little bit less than Chula Vista, maybe, $175 versus 200 or 250 or something like that. Obviously, it depends on exactly where you're living and how big the home is and how much you get, all the amenities that you get with your HOA, but that is certainly something that I'm seeing up here. And when you add up the Mello-Roos and HOA fee, like even kind of on the higher end for this area, you're talking about total $450 a month or $5,500 a year. Now, there is a specific spot in San Marcos that I personally like a lot. It's called San Elijo Hills. This is one of those areas that you can find new construction. It's this unique area in San Diego that just, you don't feel like you're in San Diego. The amount of rolling hills, the new construction, walkable communities, it almost feels like you're in a mountain town or something like that. I really, really like this area. And if I couldn't find anything there, I would probably go to Lake San Marcos next. Really, there are a lot of nice areas in San Marcos. I don't really want to pinpoint too many different ones, but those are the areas that I like a lot. And lastly, I hate that I added this to the list because this is one of my personal favorite places to be in San Diego. But North Park is not an area where I would invest in a property. I wouldn't do it. If you want to see all the reasons I love North Park, check out this video I just did last week. And there are so many reasons why North Park is a great place to be. It is within city limits, so it's easy to get around. You have easy access to other neighborhoods within Metro San Diego, and you get all the other benefits of being in the city, from being allowed to have chickens to free trash pickup. There are a bunch of different benefits that you get from being in the city of San Diego. There are some major negatives of being in North Park or owning a home in North Park, starting with the affordability and the availability. The median price home is $810,000 in North Park. The majority of the homes that are available on the market today are going to be condos, townhomes. The single family detached properties start at around $800,000. And these homes are beautiful. There's a lot of craftsman style homes, Spanish style homes. I really, really love the feel of the homes in this neighborhood, but they are small and they are old. The average age of a home in North Park is 55 years old, but the reality is most of them are going to be a lot older than that. Again, especially if you're looking at single family detached homes, those homes get 80+ years on the regular. And the average size of the home in North Park is between 600 to 1,000 square feet for $800,000+. And there's no doubt we've seen appreciation in North Park go up at a faster rate than the rest of San Diego over the last 10 years. But you can tell that it's starting to flatten out a little bit. Now it's appreciating at about the same rate as the rest of San Diego County. The reality is there's still a tremendous amount of demand for people wanting to live here. But as far as the quality of home, the amount of upgrades that you're going to have to do, the amount of unforeseen issues that can happen with these old homes that are really expensive and really small space, for me, make it not a very good area to invest in. And if you still are looking to purchase a home in North Park, I wouldn't necessarily pick one section over the other. These aren't really traditional suburbs where you have quiet little neighborhoods and cul-de-sacs. It's basically a grid of homes. So they're almost all through streets. But the areas that I would probably focus on would be to be within 1 or 2 blocks of 30th Street or butt up against Balboa Park. So you get those really nice views, and it tends to be a little bit quieter on those streets in those neighborhoods. And if you need help buying a home in San Diego, I would love to be your real estate agent of choice. I'm happy to help you out. My contact info is down below. If you like this video, consider subscribing to my channel. I put a new video up every week about San Diego, or follow me on Instagram where I'm posting just about every single day on San Diego. So thanks so much for watching this video. We'll see you next time.